Editing. Um, so it's been an obsession of mine for a long, long time, that one of the greatest hindrances or obstacles to democracy or democratically run states, or a democratically run globe is that we mistake what we have for democracy. What we have is a popularity contest where we elect leaders. And one of the vestiges that remain from our theocratic past, especially for the Euros, whose past is theocratic, is that our belief in the divine right of kings, it hasn't gone away. So we have these sort of figures who will be absolutely, totally mysterious to those who don't buy into them. But their impact is so tremendous on their faithful that they stay a long time and they have a huge influence. But their influence is very messianic rather than actually political. Anyway, they are providential figures. And this was discussed yesterday on a wonderful podcast called Reasons to, the digit to resist, run by Dimitri Laskaris, hosted by Dimitri Laskaris, who's a Greek in Greece, but he doesn't talk like a Greek. With John Helmer, if I'm right, he's an Australian, and Slobodan Despot, yes, really, who's, I don't remember where he's from, Eastern Europe. They discuss Macron, Starmer, Trump, and Merz of Germany, our current leaders of the big cheese countries, who accept Trump are running and polling at around 30%. They're elected at around 30%. It's not so much that these guys are mediocre, which they are, as that their forms of democracy allow them to remain in power. They are obviously all very good at a certain game. Then add my argument, the providential nature of Western democracies, I would stress messianic, which is our fault, us, the electorate. And I don't know lots of very capable people. Well, or the other way around, I do know lots of very, very capable people, though the myth of capacity is it's ridiculous, which I'll go into. I know lots of people who try very hard, and if they maintain their humanity, they contribute incredibly. They're not superstars. Every now and again, one is surprised by people. They show themselves to be even better than one thought. Mamdani comes to mind. I expected him in his suit and smile to shovel the cliches that Democrats do regarding Palestine, and he didn't. He didn't at all at the beginning. He slipped a little since. We'll see what that is. And recently, and the progressivate have all turned and tutted so predictably. My attitude and take is simple. It isn't him, it's New York. New York did that. They made him. They are ready. New York can own that, whatever his crew is, young, liberal, Jewish, socialist, non-land, lord class, coalescing around him and taking the reins from him, being tougher than he, the marvelous Jewish Brad Lander, his ally, just extraordinary, looks like New York. And it is a great polis, perhaps the greatest in the Western world, never meant to be run by and for billionaires. That's Las Vegas. Please go there. Never, never. Unfortunately, with the most elitist city newspaper I've ever seen, that makes the London Times look like the nation, denied by its readership, but revealed in every breath they take, every phrase of Brooks, Dowd, Lovey. Not her best, New York's. It is her shame. That New York deserves Cuomo like Florence deserved Medici. And lo, they disdain Zoran. Hit me with a flower. Of course, they misunderstood. They cannot bear a movement. Only a leader. That's all they understand in their image. Ezra. That New York is characteristic of a democracy, the one that creates Mamdani. Not some charming huckster who Macron liked, appears providential, and speaks very well to the ruling class. Democracy is not the job of leaders. That is the other thing, and the European systems have arrived where they always would. Enlightenment notwithstanding, like bad television shows, affluent people without jobs arguing inanely with their children about their children, morality plays that make mush of us all. To obey, leadership. It might be fun if there's a genius, a Bergman or a Kazan in the film world, but not even Kazan was Kazan. It's a cultural fantasy, a vestige of aristocracy. We all wait for Leonard Bernstein to show, and even he isn't he without an entourage. He's just the fever of our need of hierarchy and lets the rest of us off the hook. Into that void inevitably step the hot ones, glowing like Narcissus, a mythology spun by the leaders themselves and their media henchmen who all believe they are special. I would have thought an alternate take would be a primary imperative in a more progressive effort, but it's not. The leader need is just as amplified. We're hoisted by it. Then they betray us. Oh, boo-hoo. Yes, they seduced you. They took you to bed and then didn't call. And guess whose fault that is? It's really fun to hear the same jilted lot bleat on about the horrors of populism and never acknowledging its opposite, elitism, as their view of life. Populism is democracy. Look it up. Aristotle didn't like it. Of course he didn't. Plato hated it. Even Socrates was dubious, but that's what they did. A good balance to those big heads. Yes, of course I have the answers. I learnt them at Oxford. This they will not cede, this hilltop. They're thought leaders. I'm a thought leader. Good Lord. The evidence is that Oxbridge is evidence of nothing except upbringing, ambition, and a certain knack. Think of Ezra. His thoughts were asked for by traditions, so he thought them. He thinks. I saw with Coates, another fella. I think this because I was asked and I have a knack for pleasing, is what Ezra said. Those are some good thoughts, a commonplace in the New York Times world. It's very Amadeus, isn't it, with so many Salieris, and Salieri is not the problem. It is the aspiring to find one, not more talented than you or I, whose desire and ambition we identify with, and we wish to believe desire and ambition bring success, and they don't. I suggest, I don't know for others, I'm only I, that the only success is to be oneself. All my years I have been allowed in and out of myself. If out, I would quietly panic, then forgive myself for straying from the source, not the path. You can buy the roadmap, but from the fire inside. And I realized it's so seminal to me, and I can't really explain it, but this notion of the self, if you want evidence that it's the most powerful drive in humanity, look at what happens when it doesn't work. You should be able to source almost everything going on right now, from genocide to right-wing rebellions, populist, right-wing populism. Now they've got left-wing populism, to the lack of a sense of self in the human race, particularly in the West. Quite possibly it's going on in the East too, but I don't live there. I live here, and the symptoms here are simply spouting all over the place. My culture is apparently transformed away from this source, this fire. We have given unto God that which is our own, and complain with God's support about how much Caesar wants from us. This is our dominant impulse. They are only God and Caesar. There is only God and Caesar. We don't exist except to give unto them.